Hello, hello. Am I live? Um, yeah, I think I'm live. Let's copy this. Let's see on other. Uh, Close that up. By the way, I watched the trailer for the new Avatar, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. Um, but though the movie is actually the thing that's I'm really waiting for. So yeah. So by the way, let's see this. Okay. So I am live. So let's share this with others. Um, should I add like the link to our Discord server here? Probably I'm gonna do it later. So, but I will do that. So yeah, let's get another one of these out. Hey. Um, I'm learning Zbrush. I'm learning Zbrush. Sure. I'm learning Zbrush again. Again today. I'm learning Zbrush again today. So if you want to hop in, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is the sharing part. Yes. Right. Okay. And let's open our ZBrush. Oh. Okay, we've got ZBrush and we got Lightbox and yeah, I think we can start doing stuff, right? Let's start with Cube, right? Let's make it Polymesh 3D, and let's go. Yeah, sometimes it does that. You see that it's not. You cannot really edit this one, and the reason for that is I'm not really sure what's happening. But you can do is that what you can do is that we can clear N to clear the viewport basically, and you can recreate this, and now it's open, right? So we gotta edit this, and just like what I mentioned earlier, we're gonna turn on dynamic perspective, right? Okay, and yeah, basically, this is what I noticed earlier about ZBrush dynamic. I mean, like they do something like I'm not really sure how to say that, how to show it. Maybe I can show it later, but I want to show you how their dynamic perspective is kind of different from actual 3D perspective. So that's something that you might want to note, right? So let's turn on just the one. Sorry, only the not the Y, the Z. I think, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Where am I? Okay, this one is correct. Right. So yeah. So let's turn on our. I just want to check in the the axes, and I'm gonna turn on Sculptus Pro, right? And basically, what we want to do today, I always have like a concept in my head, and that concept is basically of Samson or Samson, I think. Um, because in many ways, let me talk a little bit about Samson first. Is that in many ways that Samson should be a patron for artists. That's like the shortest version of it, and let me explain why. It's because the story of Samson, it's basically telling a story of how human, or at least for that matter, in that case, Samson lost his connection with God, like the one who's giving him his power. So I think the story is very good for artists in a way because basically Samson, oh, sorry for that. Samson is basically has always been told since the day he was born. I mean, like the story of Samson is kind of like Jesus in many ways. Because Samson, just like Jesus, has been told that his birth is of divine power, of divine intervention at least, and he's always been told that. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, like his power is divine intervention, and his strength is also his immense strength is always been said to be like God's gift, basically, right? So that's a thing that has been that has been said and has been told to Samson throughout his life that his power is a gift from God, and yeah, so it got into his head. So and just like any gift, I mean, like it's not that this thing got into his head, but it's a normal thing when someone has been saying that this is a gift, right? This is a God's gift, and just like any gift, it is yours now, basically. I mean, like if you give someone something, that something belongs to that someone, right? It no longer belongs to you. So yeah, so that's the same thing with this thing that we call as gifts, basically, right? So we always say that it's a gift. It's a gift, meaning that it's given by God. Um, so yeah, I mean, like everyone has been saying that to Samson that his strength is God given. It's a gift from God, and thus it cannot be taken in a way. It cannot be taken away. It's his now. So he used it many times throughout his life, and knowing that this is a gift from God, that this is something that cannot be taken away from him because it's a gift, right? So that's natural. So one day, it's not. His power seems to, when, like, a lot of people think that what Delilah did is basically like wrapping, like he is the one who's like cutting his hair, and we always thought that the hair is Samson's strength source, basically, right? We always think that, but I don't think that's necessarily the case because it's never been said that way. Because since the beginning of book, it never said that um, his hair is the source of his strength. It never is. And Samson too didn't really know actually, because I remember that how Delilah have asked Samson about his source of strength, and he has been basically rambling away. He said this, he said that, he tries, and then Delilah tries what he said. Um, it's not the source of his strength. You know, he said this, he said that, he said this, and Delilah basically tried everything, and Samson knew that his strength is not, there's no source of his strength. He is the strength. He is part of that strength, and so it doesn't matter anything that he said. Okay, maybe this, you can tie me with a rope, whatever it is, and all this superstitious thing. You can try that. Basically, Samson challenged Delilah that, well, you can try that. You can try that. You can do that to me, and she tries one thing and then it's not working, and Samson is not bothered. He keeps doing that. He said the other thing. He said the other thing, and Delilah tries another thing, and it's still not. And he tries another thing. He said another thing, and so basically he knew that there is nothing in the world can take away my strength. Until one day though, he said that, well, there my scalp never touches a razor. Basically, it's not a stupid thing. Basically, um, he said something like that on top of his head. It's basically just to taunt Delilah. Come on, do that, and I want to see how you fail once again. And Delilah do that. He shaved his head. The next day, when people came around him and trying to catch him, Samson still expected he could just broke loose. He still have the strength. You know, he can he could break loose just like the previous day. So he still expected that he is able to do that. But today, that day, he can't. He lost his gift. He lost his strength, and eventually one day, I mean, like you know the story. He's caught, he's tried, he's humiliated by the Philistines, and one day, when he is about to be tried, or he basically carried to like a hall, and then he asked a guy over there, bring me to the pillar, so that I can rest. Right, and he was taken to the pillar and he rested, but in that moment he said to God, he prayed to God that, well, give me one more chance, give me one last chance for the strength, so that I can put revenge and kill these Philistines who have been mocking me. And I know that that is not like a very a very moral story about this. I mean, like he's basically asking his power to basically kill people. I know it's not exactly the most modern moral thing, but it is. The story was that he asked for his strength one more time, and right at that moment, this is something that Samson has never done throughout his life, because he always thought that, well, this is mine. And this time, he prayed. He asked God for the first time and probably the last time, please give me this power once again for the last time. And yeah, it was given. It was given to him, and yeah, he got his strength back, and he pushed those pillars, two pillars, one in his right hand and the other on his left hand. He pushed it, and with it, he basically destroyed the hall and buried anyone underneath it. including him, to death. So so yeah, that is a single that is the simplest story of Samson that I can think of. But the the parallel, the reason why I said that the story of Samson should be treated. Let me, by the way, let me maybe while I was talking, can I talk while I sculpt? I cannot really do that because my cognitive skill is not exactly very good while doing that. When I'm sculpting and talking, it's basically like multitasking kind of thing. So let me continue this story a little bit more. The reason why I said that Samson is should be a patron for artists is simply because as artists, we artists, we always at some point in our life, whether it's, in my case it's since I was a small kid, and you might be different. You may be different, or you will be told at a different time of your life. But at some point in our life, people will say something like, "Oh, you are gifted. You are gifted, right? You have talents." And that thing can get into our head, basically saying that by saying that, "Oh, okay, this is God's gift." So you thought that you could think that this gift from God is belongs to you now. This ability for you to do art belongs to you now, and you treat it as such that this thing, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter whatever that I do, or whatever it is that whether or not I'm training, whether or not I'm learning about new things, whether or not I'm practicing, whether or not I'm learning new things from my fellow artists. It doesn't matter. It is this art ability is innate to you, and you don't need anything else. It doesn't come from anything else. It's not from your hair. It's not from your, I don't know, your table or whatever. I mean, like it doesn't come from that. It comes from me, and that ability is innate, right? Basically, so if you think like that, one day it could be that your gift was taken back, basically. And I've seen many. I mean, like I've seen many since I was a kid. I have like several artistic friends, but as time goes by, that number is basically shrinking and shrink. It shrink tremendously, um and yeah, until a point that through this very day, uh, I might be like the only artist, like hardcore artist left among my friends, basically. And one of the reasons for that is maybe it is the lack of future of becoming an artist. Yeah, I mean like that is one part, people not wanting to be an artist. But I think the other thing is that I think the other thing is that as artists we have a tendency to think that, well, it is within me. I can reawaken it at any given time. So I don't have to do that. I don't have to train. I don't have to practice. I can pick it up anywhere I left it, basically. Um, but I don't think so. You can lost it. You can lost your gift, just like Samson did, lost his gift because this thing, this ability for us to do art is not exactly God given. It, I would like to think of it as like it is something that is lent to you to use. You're basically renting it, and or at least it's borrowing it. You're basically borrowing the skill from God. And well, I mean, like you don't have to believe in God. I basically say God in like as a term. It's not exactly like pointing to one God or the other. You can think of different gods. You might be an atheist. You might be an agnostic. Whatever it is, when I say God, it basically is something's bigger than us, a bigger force than us. So it came from that. It came from that source. We are borrowing that. So you should know, you should always realize that this is a borrowed power, and you should do just like anything borrowed. You will take care of it. You will keep it in pristine condition. I mean, like you don't borrow a car from your friends and then crashing it or abandoning it on the side of the road. No, you won't do that. So same thing happens with your artistic skills. I mean, like you, if you start thinking that it is borrowed, it is someone else's, that you take care of it greatly. But when you think it is yours, it's just like your car, or your I don't know. Whenever you have your stuff, you have a tendency to be less caring about that thing because it is yours. I mean, like I can do whatever I want with it. I mean, like I can destroy it as far as I know. So yeah, I mean, like that's another way to think about it is that this thing is borrowed, and you, when you think it's borrowed, you will take care of it great deal more than when you think it is yours, personally yours. So yeah, as an artist, I think it's always a good thing to think that you are like Samson. Samson is like the patron of yours. You should not forget, just like Samson did, he basically forgot that his power is borrowed. You should not forget that your power is borrowed from God, from divinity. Um, and yeah, you should always like almost in a way pray for it. Like you should beg for it, just like Samson begged for his power to come back uh, on daily basis, and that way you could, you know, you could preserve your skill a little bit better. So, so yeah, I guess that's the talking part of it. I mean, like that's a long time, and let me see, my okay. So we've got two viewers, right? We got one, we got zero now. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. Let's do something. I'm gonna turn off the X. Um, right? And basically today, what I want to do, I've got a concept in my head. Um, I want to basically have two pillars, three pillars inside. One showing a Samson. No, but sorry, two is basically the one that's held by Samson, and the other is on the back of Samson. Basically, want to show that that pillar is also falling and killing Samson. So, like a dominoes, right? Now, yeah, I think I can do that. No, but the thing is, I wanted to use this as a base. I want to try creating things out of a cube instead of molding the cube. So I really want to try that. Mm. But mm, yeah, why is it that it's not sculpting pro? Mm. Does it has to be? Do we have to use Dynamash as well? For oh yeah, I think we have to turn on Dynamash, right? So yeah, it's okay. So we've got that. So let's do that, right? Let's create some sort of. I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we have got like two pillars. Yeah. Where am I? Oh. Oh. Okay, so that's the face of it. Now we can lock the Z, sorry, the Y. And I think I want to create like two large pillar on this side. Keep building it. Just want to see the placement of it so that I can have like a good composition later on. Sorry. And the other one, I want to put it right behind him. Something like here. And basically I want to show people that this thing is falling. So yeah, I'm gonna probably, can I keep doing that? I'm trying a better way to do that. Can I use move? But that I want to see. Oh, I think it's the same case for Zbrush Coptis Pro with Topo. I think that they do not exactly. You see that as we grow this with move, it doesn't add geometry to this, basically. So it's only when you are sculpting it that it adds geometry. But if you using like move like that, it does not add geometry. Um, I still want to have like some sort of organic feeling to the pillar. So I don't want to make it look too rigid, basically, right? And yeah, I think that's good enough, and I just have to figure out the pose that I should come with. Um, I'm thinking that's gonna be where he's. Oh, I think it's where this is where he's gonna be standing. He's just gonna be holding that with his left and right hand. Now I'm just thinking a good pose for that. So, mm, um, we can cut it later. I think, right? I mean, like we can always cut this later. We can grow like sort of a lump here first, right? Just making sure that it's the size of a man. And the thing is, for this Samson, I don't want him to look muscular at all because I've seen. I mean, like there are few. I mean, like artwork about Samson is not a lot, but there are a few who do, and on all of them, they always show Samson in his glory time. Basically, he is ripped and big and all that. So, but the thing is, he's been caged, basically. He's been humiliated by Philistine. I mean, so I don't think that he's still gonna be in his prime shape after that. So that's something that I really want to take care of with this one. So, so I think now it's I think the height is a little bit higher. It should be higher. Um, Maybe here. Um, I'm making sure that his hand, his arm, is proportionally speaking able to reach Maybe I'm gonna use this thing like that. Let's make it as tall as that one, right? Something like that. Yeah, I think it is possible. This thing is possible. I wanna wonder what is the chisel things do. Oh, that's bad. That's not it. Um, oh, we've got alphas. I always want to try like a chisel, like a stone chisel, because that's kind of cool. Probably what is this? Alpha, brush alpha. Maybe this one. What does it do? Oh, that one is good. Yeah, this one feels like a chisel, like that, right? Stone chisel. But for stone chisel, usually they are reductive instead of an additive, right? So Z's up, something like that, right? But for now, I'm gonna stick to um, brush alpha, right? Okay, and now I wanna still figure out. By the way, I think, yeah, let's add some shape here. I'm gonna just build it quickly because the thing is we're gonna eventually have to merge this to the stone, basically, right? And we're gonna have to do that eventually. So let's add some geometry to the stone so that we have something to work with, right? So we're gonna eventually have to move this and merge it with the stone because he's basically holding that, right? And we might have to do it with Dyntopo. I mean, like the Dynamash before we can move forward. Clay buildup. I want to build both so I can join this. Let's see how good Dyntopo can be joining this thing. Okay, that seems to be good. I'm basically building the scapula because it's very important. It is an important landmark for a human body. I mean, like people miss it a lot. I think that's a very good landmark for the body, and for the front it is the chest, right? So that's gonna be the chest. And let's build this power again. Sorry, too much. Maybe I'm gonna use move. Okay, let's add some clay buildup. Basically, I want to build this first, building the pillar on this side. I forgot to do that. Let's add some geometry to this one. Do we have enough geometry with this one? So here's the thing. Do you see this? Because I mentioned earlier that I want to show you how ZBrush 3D is kind of different from actual 3D because they still, it feels. Do you see that? Do you see that thing? They have this weird parallax, basically. You see that how this gap moves in like a very different way. So that's my observation though. Yeah. So that's what I mentioned about this not having a very different uh, 3D ish. Because the thing is, I'm not really sure how they do it. I'm like I'm still they guarding their secrets. Uh, how they're doing their software ZBrush, because ZBrush is for profit. It's unlike Blender, basically this one is free, so they tell everyone how they're doing it. This one they don't really tell you how they make their software. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's do Dyn Turbo. Okay, it is. Is it merge? It's merge. Yeah, the other thing is very. The other thing, the benefit of Blender. Sorry, the ZBrush is how easy they merge stuff. I still yet have to learn that in Blender. Um, though this one is they seem great good. Um, though I feel like yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to build the leg eventually. But the thing is, this side, his leg will be forward, and I think we're gonna have to build like some sort of patio on this one, so that his foot can rest, basically. Um, and oh, this is gonna be tricky, without hiding. How do I? I think I can do that. Mm, I think the left leg forward. What do you think? So left leg forward, like that. Thing like that. Mm, okay, this is gonna be where his leg's gonna be. Sorry, feet. Um, gonna do some of that area. We're gonna eventually have to cut this, right? Um, this is gonna be like that's gonna be like a straight line. Um, and I'm thinking of adding Delilah to this piece for some reason. For some reason, I'm thinking of adding Delilah to this. And I probably have to hide this thing on the back. How do I do that? I think I can. I can use mask. Square? Sorry. Oh, no. How do I? No, I need this one pen. Height. No. Height. Height. Shortcut. Zbrush. If I double click on my keyboard. No, height, height, mask, shortcut, Zbrush. It's using. No, not that. How do I? Shift. Okay. Oh. It's the other way around. Hide mask area. Control Shift. No. Oh. We have to add alt to that, so. Okay. That's good, right? You can see it a little bit better. Okay. And probably fix some of that pose. I have, yeah. It has to be straighter. And he is pushing that, so it's normal that his scapula is going to be pushed back like that. But the thing is, I want to make sure that his head should not be up here. His head should be drooping. Let's delete this, and it should be like something like here, like that, right? Oh, what happened? Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Am I still okay? We are on 43 minutes. Yeah, I want to make sure that he looks weathered and thin. Because he's been starved to death, basically. So I want to make sure that he looks droopy and kind of malnourished in a way. Not very athletic like that. There's gotta be a scapula. I want a scapula to be like popping because he's so skinny. This one is the scapula. I wanted this one to be popping. Something like that. gonna be the. I think I'm. This is another thing creeping in. I don't want to stick to details first now. Yeah, that's a bad habit of mine. Let's build the posture first. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. This is his. Let's make his ass to be like sagging, right? Because he's skinny, right? I don't want him to be like having a full round ass. Like I want him to be like very thin, for that matter, because he's malnourished. But I want his bones to be knobby. Like it basically shows that this is once a big man, but now it's like a small, right? So instead of making him look just like a small guy, right? So I still want to have that sort of a perspective to the sculpt, right? So I think this other pillar. What can we do? Can we hide this pillar as well? I want to hide all the pillars. Oh, sorry. Oh, what happened? Why is this showing up, this one? Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, this is a lot easier to work with, right? So let's rebuild this calf. Now my thought has not been made up for with the Delilah depiction here. Oh, I think we can cut. Can we cut? Cut. Clip. I think we can use clip, right? Clip. Control Shift keys. No, not clip. Cut. I think we've got cut here. There's a cut. No, that one. Knife. This one. Oh. No. Knife lasso. What? Hey. Or actually slice, not knife. Or trim. Why is it? Probably I should use like trim lasso. Why does it always do that? Let me unhide. Control Shift click. Okay, maybe I should use that. Why is it they're using? Why do they? Oh, they cut through that. Mask. Yeah. I don't want to do this. Trim circle, trim lasso, trim circle. I want to create a cut here. No. Why do they not? They create that thing, but they're not trip. They're not. Oh. What the difference between knife and how to cut, how to trim in Zbrush. Let's watch this. I think it's true. Like you should use like. Should we turn off Dynamesh for this, right? Oh, oh. Or trim. But I didn't get that either. See? Trim. It doesn't cut. Okay. Maybe I should not use. Maybe I should just manually like that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, has been a hiccup. How do I? They only do that. I think we're gonna have to figure it out later. To be honest, though. Let's keep moving these. Let's okay. Let's go. That's good. I probably have to rebuild this, right? No, I mean like I have to relearn how to. What happens if I keep doing that? Oh, it's the other way. How to remove parts of your mesh in Zbrush. Okay. One moment. Why is that? Hmm. Yeah, I think. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. Oh. Hmm. Still figuring out this control thing. Delete. We can use delete here. But what I'm wondering is that if this thing can do that, right? Why cannot do trim? Because normally it could. Do you see that? Is it because I'm using Sculptis Pro? Is it because I'm using data mesh? No, it's not. Hmm. Why am I not trimming? Hey. Hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do that later, right? That's the important part. Let's build this up. Sorry. Right, and now I want to add something. Hmm. I want to see some bit of curve to the head before committing to the rest of the pose. Oh, got this thing. I want to see some sort of neck, the seventh vertebrae poking out. I want to see him like pulling his. Mm, I'm gonna make it thinner. I want him to have like a very thin thorax that he's like that probably, and probably the belly. The belly should be gone too. Now, the question, do we want him to be nude? That's $1 million question, isn't it? This happens like a moment before he pushes, basically. So he should be. Okay. By the way, I'm gonna play some music. I want his thorax to be popping here. I want I want him to have like a big bone. showing that he used to have, because you know the thing with muscles is that if you have a large muscle, your bones will be bigger. But if once you lost that muscle, there's some part of it, your bones will be left bare basically, but the bones will still be bigger. I mean, like it's very hard. It takes a long time to shrink your bones. So it's easy. I mean, like it's easier and faster to shrink your muscle instead of your bones. Um, no idea. Rotate the feet a little bit. I'm building the rhomboid. I feel like it should be pushing in the middle here. I want to shape the. I think this one is too thick. I think the one that should be thick is up here. But actually, no. I I really want to make him not look bulky. So let's flatten this out a little bit more. Let's build the arm a bit more. Um, the arm is a little bit hidden. I'm gonna make the head a little bit smaller. I wanted to feel like he's got this poking uh, collarbone. Showing that once again, that concept is still relevant as ever. I want to make sure that he looks like a man that used to be big, but now he's no longer big. And I think by showing that bone structure, it's gonna help us a lot. Mm, I think we start seeing the shape of it a little bit more. I want to create that ace, the dimple here. It's gonna be the crotch. So let's build the ass part. That's gonna be the sacrum. Um, I'm gonna make it straighter. Sorry, rounder. Let's map up the. Okay, that's. Mm, now, I really. I really want to add Delilah here. Like she is like holding into his hip, so she's basically on the. But can we nah? Oh, let's empty this part, this empty part, by having her. Let's make her come from here, right? I think this is gonna be able to close the empty space between his legs. So she'll be clothed, I think, and she's gonna be holding into that. Um, both of his hip. And she's gonna be there, I think. The pose, I'm not really sure. Maybe something like that. Maybe she'll be kneeling. Basically, she want to stop. He want to stop the Samson from doing whatever it is that he's doing. Because I think she already has like some sort of ideas. Maybe the foot should be up here. No, the knees, I mean. And there's gonna be like cloth all over it. And she's gonna be trying to stop him. Let's build the. She's gonna be twisting like that. Let's build the. She is basically looking at Samson like that. There's like dots here. There. You're basically looking at him. His hair is dropping. Like that. She wanna looks at him. What are you doing, basically? Maybe this is a romanticization of that, to be honest, because it's not written anywhere in Bible that she is ever present here. She's gonna have like her. Maybe wrapping around here. Another side is going to be holding him over here. both of his hand, her hand will be around the hip. Her body will be something like this, right? We're gonna hide this rock. Yeah. She's gonna be looking at that way. She's gonna looking up. This is gonna be the crown. Sorry, the crown. I mean like the bang. Oh no. This is way too thin. Yeah, now we have. How can I? Hmm. I want to make sure that the. Let's check over this. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, we got some views. Um, I want to make sure that she looks smaller, at least. Hmm. So we know that that's the anchor point. The arm is there. We know that, and now we just have to build the remaining part, like her the rest of the body. So I'm thinking that. Hmm, I think we gotta cut something. Um, how to make selection? How to make selection not penetrating? Mm. Mm. That's cool. Oh, that's still. Mm. I think Musk with mask is good. Mm. Because I think we gonna need some. How do we save file? Do we have ZBrush? Oh. Samson. Okay. I think I'm gonna use like that part, that part. It doesn't have to be big because we can always reduce it later. And probably this one. See that one, that area. And yes, that's good. I think that is hidden. Yeah. Now we just have to. Your geometry. Not closing that though. Now I'm wondering how. Oh, come on. Hmm. Yeah, Zbrush, you see that how they have this weird thing going on. That side is invisible, but actually there is like that thing is not invisible. You see that? It's basically it should not be invisible. You see that? Yeah. I think we gonna have to. Not really sure. we might have to work with as is. By the way, let's. Let's shape the arm a bit better. By the way, we gotta turn on Dynamesh. Oh, because right now, I think we don't. Hmm. Oh no. When do I turn off the? I think we can. I think we can use that. Oh, what happened? There's that separation. Hmm. How do I X-ray in ZBrush? X-ray. Mm. Um. How do I? Um. How do I set it to X-ray view? No, it's not this. You should have fill. Mm. Where is that? Before tool. Draw. Mm. I think mm, it has some weird things going on here. What is that? How do we close this thing? Geometry. Mm. They. Why do they? Why don't they close this? I would say that this thing is thin. See that? They have this back face thing going on. Not really sure what to do. Hmm. I'm gonna. Yeah. I think we're gonna stop here. And let's see if we can learn a little bit of to maybe behind the scene to basically trim things, because right now I don't know, I don't see a way to do that, because it's odd because in Blender we can do it quickly. I mean like I wish they can do that as well here. So yeah, I guess this is it for now, and I'm gonna add file save. Okay. Yes, I think we do. 1508, yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I save it the right thing around. Uh, okay, so got a project where file open. Oh, it's still there. Okay, thank God. So yeah, let's close that now, and yeah, I think that's it for today. We've got several viewers now, which is basically more crowded than yesterday. So that's pretty good. Yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will learn a little bit more about Blender's thing. Sorry, ZBrush trimming, and how can we make basically Boolean thing uh, on ZBrush.